Hey guys, it's Zernu. This is kind of awkward. It's been forever since I've uploaded, and I was kind of saying I'm done YouTube. I might not even upload this, so if I do upload this and you're seeing this, then I did, but probably not. I want to talk about what I was mentioning on Twitter, because I feel like it's something where I can't really write a thread about it, because it's through the guise of my cat girl avatar and pictures you do have of me. And I feel like it's kind of disingenuous. And I understand when I hear people talk about this subject, and I feel like it doesn't apply to them, I feel kind of offended or that's not fair, you know? So this is me. This is what I look like. No makeup, um, bad, going through health problems, not the best, not on my peak. My hair's messy. So this is it. So I feel like when I am discussing this, it's genuine. And if this changes people's perception of me, well, that's my whole life. So for me, the internet has been a kind of a way to separate, but this is what's behind the screen. So I want to talk about being ugly. Now, this is something where what the fuck does ugly even mean? There's so much you can get into just with that itself. And it's a lot to unpack, and you can discuss what are beauty standards. But for sake of arguments and not waste too much time, we're just going to go with what's beautiful is two different ones. You have the Eurocentric beauty standards, and that's the first thing. Now, obviously, there's people with Eurocentric features that aren't attractive, like if they're overweight or if they have a deformity or if, their proportions just aren't that great. So we know facial symmetry is what makes something attractive, yada, yada, yada. Eurocentric beauty standards are blue eyes, blonde hair, white skin, thin eyebrow, or not thin, but like not too heavy of eyebrows, small nose, round lips, full lips, but not too much, a bit more feminine, blah, blah, blah. That's Eurocentric beauty standards. But then you also have exotic features. I don't like using that word, but exotic features. So women who are ethnic but have big lips, big eyes, that kind of look, and that's considered attractive. And where I live, there's a lot of Latino women, and so that's kind of Eurocentric beauty isn't really as imposed because I have a large contingent of Latina beauty standards, Mexican beauty standards here. So that obviously depends on where you're living and all that. But these things are enforced from a young age because the thing is beauty, and this is what Stefan Mondi's been talking about, and beauty isn't something that's... Has he really been talking about this? I don't know. I don't know if he discussed this specifically. It's not like femininity, but whatever. Attractiveness is not subjective. Well, let me rephrase that. What's attractive is not subjective. What you are attracted to is subjective, but what's attractive is objective. And this goes by facial symmetry, and again, those features that indicate fertility for women and others. We're not talking about men. I'm going to talk about men, but not for this part. So, for me, I have always felt ugly. Now, what does this mean? Well, when someone is ugly, they're not as desired by other people of their same gender or the opposite gender, and that has social consequences. So, even when you're young and you're not actually actively pursuing a sexual partner, these traits are still desired in people that you surround yourself with. So people want to surround themselves with pretty people because it makes them feel pretty. That's kind of how it works. So for me, I also have had health problems my whole childhood, which definitely hindered the way people interacted with me because of those. But separate from those, I still always was unattractive. And I think even my family were cognizant of that I didn't really fit in with other people. And then I started getting bullied. So first there's the not explicit, but it's the implicit. You're not in groups of people, you're being kicked out of groups, you're just not included, you're treated differently. Then comes the explicit, which is the bullying. Now, I was, for the first half of my bullying experience, I was just made fun of, but the second half, I was like abused. So for the first half, that was when I was in like early elementary school, and I lived in North Carolina. So again, the beauty standards there are much more Eurocentric, meaning blonde hair, blue eyes, like very Northern European. And so I was made fun of for having thick eyebrows, being hairy, and then on top of it, just the way I looked. I was bullied for that because I kind of have a weird, I don't know how to explain it, but I just have a weird look to me. It's not like I don't know how to explain it, but I look weird. Okay, I have like kind of a weird aunt kind of look to me. So I was made fun of that for that, and bullied and excluded and whatever. I was also really tall for my age. And then I moved to Arizona, and that's when I actually was like beat up by other girls my age. And that wasn't very fun. Now, I didn't really think, like, I wasn't like, oh my god, but I was beat up by girls my age, and I was constantly called names. I was called penis nose. I was told I was ugly. I was weird. That was another thing. I was also really weird. That didn't help my case at all. So those things become stored in your brain, and they modify the way you behave and the way you expect social interactions to occur. So when you're interacting with people, you kind of predict how they're going to respond to you and how you're going to respond, and then you build up from there. And you obviously can say, oh, this person's not how I expected or whatever, but that's that's the basics of how you're interacting. So that really sucked. On top of it, I don't really have any friends, and that's why I started getting to the internet, and that was kind of a haven for me, at least, where I could not show my face, and I could still be what I wanted to be, without that. I hate being treated this way, So then, around 7th or 8th grade, again, I'm sorry this is so me, but I can't really speak for anyone else, but I'll get more general later, but when I was in middle school, my parents were like kind of concerned that I was so antisocial, and they wanted me to hang out with these their friends' kids, and the girls that they were their friends' daughters were blonde hair, blue eyes, and all of their friends were. So was kind of forced to hang out with these people who had nothing in common with me. They're all very beautiful. They're still beautiful to this day. And I was forced to hang out with them. And also I was very insecure about my weight. And I would have to go to pool parties and all this stuff. And that was literally torture. Like, it was the worst thing to possibly happen. And this sounds really stupid and petty, but it's true. Like, I tried being friends with them. They just did not accept me based on how I looked. And I'm not like saying they had to or they should have. It just, I didn't fit in with them. And that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but trying to force me to meld with these people isn't fair. And it's also something I'll talk about eventually, but being on a campus that's so big, you realize how much people self-segregate. People self-segregate. Wow. Anyway, so that really impacted me too, because that's around the age of like boys and stuff, and I had other experiences, but with at least when it came to middle school itself, like, and I think for me, my parents identified this, and they basically were like, okay, you're smart. You're smart, Nina. You're smart. So that became my identity. I'm smart. I'm funny. And never pretty. Never pretty. Ever. So what happens with that, and maybe that people relate, I know some people relate, basically, you resent that. You resent the things you're good at because you want to be good at this other thing, and you just are so mad that you can't have it. And maybe that's just like selfish, or that's just stupid, but that becomes part of you. So that kind of same trend happened for a long time. And eventually, because I was smart, not to brag. I mean, I'm not really bragging in this at all, but because I was smart, I was able to, as I got older, interact with people and have them recognize me for that. And I started to grow into my looks a bit more. I mean, just a bit better. Know how to do makeup, blah, 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 blah. Makeup helped a lot, but I can't really wear makeup anymore. So I'm kind of over people being like, that's you? Because I look a lot different when I wear makeup. And because I'm good at it. And I don't like the feeling of when someone says, that's you. I had somebody say it to me in real life, and I don't Photoshop. I've never Photoshopped or edited my pictures in any way. It's just I look different. And so I'd rather have people think I look less most of the time and then be like, wow, you look good, than wow, you look really bad naturally. So I think I just want to talk about this because I feel like it stuck my nail. To discount the impact of this, you can't. You can't. Um, you really can't, because especially when I hear about boys too, and I think my opinions on boys' attractiveness vary from an incel way of thinking about the world, but I'm a girl, I don't really care what I think. But still, I think the impact of being ugly or feeling like you're ugly or being treated like you are ugly and different and unworthy have such impact on you. And there's really nothing you can do about it. And that's what's so hard, because you can say, well, get plastic surgery. It's like, okay, well, if I get plastic surgery, one, it costs me thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. Two, everyone around me will know that I got plastic surgery. So unless I'm planning to get plastic surgery, move, and basically like pretend I didn't get it, and then people will find out that I got it, it will be a little awkward. And people will know what you're doing. And they're not going to be super like, wow, like they're going to kind of think less of you because of it. So people, let me know what you think about this and how you manage this. Because for me, I hate looking at myself in the mirror, and I literally can't. Like, I do like the minimum I can. Especially since I can't wear makeup, I literally am disgusted looking in the mirror. And it's something where, and like, luckily I have a boyfriend, and that's, if I didn't, I don't know what the fuck I would be doing, but I do. And I know there's girls who probably are in the same position as me and also, overweight or have other problems, and that I think health problems are a big thing for me, at least. I maybe I'll publish that essay. I wrote a really good essay about that, but maybe I'll publish it at some point. But I think having health problems definitely made the problem worse and more extreme. But yeah, how do you, if you're if you're in your early 20s and you're trying to find a person, how do you do that when you have low self-esteem or you're ugly, and then you use the internet, but then people find out you look like, and then they're like, I think the internet is kind of a haven for people like us, and I'm assuming people watching this are like me, and we can kind of hide behind what we look like and be more us, what we feel is us, and that's a really great thing. But I don't know, because I've been feeling like really ugly, and it's not something where it's like, oh my god, like self-pity all the time. It just like sucks. It just is like, I want to feel good about myself instead of being like, ew, all the time. Yeah. I think I was going to have more of a sophisticated idea of this. I laid about my experiences, though. There's definitely more, but that was kind of the basics. So let me know what you guys experienced, please. I want to know. And if you're a boy and if you're a girl, I don't really care. Again, and as one, I do have body dysmorphia, which I don't really get in my body, but I'm talking about my face strictly. But I know there's people who are objectively attractive and they don't think they are. And it's like, well, you can't melt that. You can't, because unless they find a person that they trust enough to believe them, you're like, no matter what random people tell you, it's not going to matter. But I think a lot of people do have that own judgment. If you have similar experiences where you were an outcast because of the way you looked, then it's probably you were experiencing that instead of just you having bad self-esteem. Even if you're really pretty, you're gonna have friends wherever you go. That's a fact. Excluding certain things, but that's pretty much gonna be generally true. So let me know what you guys think.